So today we're going to be showing you a little bit about pecan crackers. So this time of year in Alabama, pecans are falling all over the place and everybody's needing somewhere to crack them because they don't feel like doing them all by hand anymore. But basically we've got two different models here. Both of these are my grandfather's. One's a Meyer machine. It's out of San Antonio manufacturing, and the other one here is a Champion. So both of them, one's just got a bigger hopper than the other essentially. One takes a little bit longer to actually crack than the other. This one right here we're actually having to work on right now. My grandfather's gonna have to come down here and kind of show me exactly on this how it's working. I mean, unless you can get a machinist that actually knows how to manufacture some of these actual parts, it's hard to get everything the way you really want it much anymore. So the basic concept is, of course, you got your hopper here. This is where you're going to be pouring your pecans actually into. As they go in here, you've got a little bit of an agitator. I don't know if you can see it down here. Might be better to come this way. So this right here, as it's constantly rotating the pecans through, it's going to be gyrating and actually moving the pile of pecans that's left in there and actually helping them feed down so they don't get jammed up or anything like that. And this one right here that we're working on might be the best way to kind of show you behind the scenes on how this is actually kind of working a little bit. So you've got this little spring system here that works, and you've actually got this gear shift. So as I'm sitting here, I'm just going to mess with this pulley system here. So as I'm pushing this pulley, you can see here that it's actually pressing and moving this pin back, and it's going to constantly just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over and over and over again. So I don't have the top on this one, so that's kind of why it's wanting to pop up just a little bit here, as you can kind of tell. It's squealing right now. We don't know if it's something with the gears that's locking up or if it's something where it's just not pressing itself back, so we're trying to figure that out right now. So what happens is, as pecans go down through the hopper, they're actually going to come on this little conveyor belt system here. So it's down here and it drops, and so it's just going to feed up these little compartments, up and up and up and up. And what it's going to do, this is a cover plate that goes on here, but that's the best way that we can kind of show you exactly how it works without having the cover plate on it. So what it's going to do is it's just going to keep funneling these pecans down and down and down and down until it gets into this little system here. So right in here, and this one might not be the best way to show you in here, but there's a little shaft. So when the pecan goes in here, what it's going to do is there's a pin that shoots from this side and it meets another pin on this side. So basically just compressing the pecan together to just kind of break it open for you, and then it's going to funnel through this bottom section and fall out here. So on this other model that I don't have the top on it, this one might be able to kind of show you a little bit about how it works here. So I'm going to do the same thing as the other. I'm just going to mess with this here, and you can see that pin kind of coming out there, and so it's just going to press that pecan up against this other section here, and you can see how this one's feeding out. And then what will happen is, after it gets to a certain point, it's just going to work itself back, and this one's going to shoot in here just so this can keep dropping pecans down in here essentially. And it's just going to keep doing that over and over and over again. But what you can also do is, like on these certain sections like this, you can kind of increase or decrease the size. So if you've got bigger pecans, smaller pecans, you might want something that's actually going to crack them a little bit better. So if it's too short, too long, it's not going to crack a smaller or large pecan the way it's supposed to crack it essentially. So it might not go all the way through, might crack it too much. A lot of times that's why we don't even crack like paper shell pecans, and the main reason why is because of that. I mean, there's such a soft shell pecan that it's basically going to turn into pecan meal at that point, and most people that are coming in here to crack them, I mean, they're not wanting to sit there and sit through dust at that point. So what we're going to do is actually get a few pecans, put them in the hopper, and kind of show you exactly how it feeds down through this section up from the bottom and works its way around and about. So actually, before I put some of these pecans in here, first I'm gonna plug it up and kind of let y'all see exactly how the machine operates and works at a time. And I think that's the best way to do it, because once you put the pecans in there, it's gonna get very loud. It's gonna be a lot going on at one time. So it's best, I think, to kind of plug it up first, let you see how it works, put the pecans in, and then you can see how it goes through the final process of putting everything through. Okay, so we've plugged it up now. Again, it's very, very loud. It's gonna be hard to hear beyond this. We don't have a mic yet for it, but I just want you to see. There's a sprayer going on through here. This can actually work as a bit of an agitator if you've got a lot of content at a time. Again, I'm sticking my hand in here. I'm not recommending anybody else stick their hand in here, because if your finger gets stuck in one of these slots, so you can see as the pecan feeds in here, it's going to drop in one of these slots right here. So I'm going to open up this shaft right here. So as the pecan's dropping through here, you can see where it's actually going to hit this little pin section here. That's where it's going to constantly go through. I mean, you can usually do a lot of pecans at a time, essentially, to get what you need in there. So now we're going to get a few pecans put in there, and then you can see how it goes through. I'm probably not going to open up this shaft with the pecans in there. If I do, I'm definitely going to have to step back, because then you're going to have shrapnel flying all over the deck in place in here. So let's get some pecans, put in the hopper, and we'll see how everything comes through. So most people nowadays, they've got all these other modern pecan crackers that they're working with. So, I mean, you might be looking at thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, it's an investment if you're cracking a ton of pecans at a time. For us, I mean, we're really just getting the locals, because there's really not anybody around here that does anything like that. I mean, there's a few places out here, but there's not as many as there used to be. But as for us, I mean, having these old-fashioned ones here, it's hard to get parts. That's the main concern with that. I mean, nobody really manufactures a lot of these old-fashioned parts the way you have to have them anymore, so you have to get like a machinist and stuff like that. But the positive side is that they do last. I mean, these right here are probably between 30, 40, 50 years old machines with low maintenance. I mean, obviously you're having to oil them up every time, clean them. You might have to change a few belts every once in a while and things like that, but the motors are reliable, the parts are reliable. It's not like you're having to deal with some cheap plastic or anything like that, so that helps out a lot. So now we're going to get a few pecans, fill them in the hopper, and you can see exactly how it goes through and it actually cracks these. I wasn't paying attention, I didn't put a bucket or anything right here. But you can see how sometimes they just won't fit. So a lot of times that's just depending on the size of the pecans or the conveyor system that's in here. So what I'm going to do is just bring the pull up over here. And you can see that when it presses it, it's not crushing it. It's a good size that what it's going to do is just crack this top layer of the shell off, enough to where you can actually just open it up yourself. I mean, that's really one-handed here. And again, this is a Kiowa pecan. It's not a paper shell pecan, but it is a little bit of a softer shell, so it is a little bit easier to open up. But you can see even these other ones here, again, it's doing what it needs to do. It's cracking it, but it's not completely disintegrated. What I am going to do is probably try to take off this little section right here, just so you can maybe see how it's going to crack. Again, there's going to be a lot of shrapnel shooting out, so that's not my concern with this. I'm going to back up just a little bit, so it might be a little hard to watch it for just a second. Okay, so now we're taking off this face plate just so you can kind of see what happens as it's actually going to crack itself. So I actually have to feed some through here. I'm going to be able to show you how built